Effectiveness means that many listeners will likely find that a favorite rifle or plane or battleship or tank has been omitted from this book. To those listeners, I apologize in advance and plead only that it is in the nature of surveys not to be all-inclusive. For the most part, the weapons discussed in this book are those that, I feel, best illustrate the broader points I want to make. I've incurred many debts, mostly in the form of time, energy, encouragement, and support in the years that I've spent working on this project and writing this book. While I can't possibly name them all, here are some of the more important acknowledgments. Family first. My wife, Mary Lockhart, deserves thanks most of all for putting up with me as I wrote this and for her unwavering support. My children, Kate, Nick, Paige, Phil, and Alex, have always been supportive too. My youngest, my son Alex, undoubtedly felt the presence of the book more than anyone else. It occasionally intruded upon my time with him, but because of his keen and wide-ranging interest in the subject matter, especially early 20th century naval warfare, he's also been both a sounding board for my ideas and a direct contributor to this book. Nick, Phil, and Alex have also been my partners at the shooting range for many years, and those experiences have been of great help to me as I worked on this book. I can't possibly list all the historians, weapons experts, and grad students who have offered ideas, suggestions, fielded questions, and suggested further reading, but here's a selection. Mark Fissel, Rick Schneid, Rick Herrera, Art Johnson, Kim Wagner, Stuart Dempsey, Eric Bonkowski, Paul Doherty, Evan Mason, Seth Marshall, Zach Jett, Dave Pridgeon, Dan Studebaker, Chad Kellersmith. The two colleagues who chaired the history department at Wright State University during the time I was working on this book, Carol Herringer and Jonathan Winkler, deserve a great deal of thanks for 100 little things, including accommodating teaching load requests, facilitating grants, and helping me to obtain a full year sabbatical from 2017 to 2018. Thanks, too, to our infinitely resourceful history librarian at Wright State, Mr. Ran Rader. Finally, I want to acknowledge my father, Newton F. Lockhart. It's to him that I dedicate this book. I first discussed it with him as soon as I knew I was going to write it, about 6 years ago, and I worked out the overarching structure of the book in conversations with him. He passed away not long after that. This will be the first book I've written that I won't be able to share with him. Still, I know that this book owes much to those early conversations with him and to his loving support and evident pride over the years. Paul D. Lockhart, Washington Township, Ohio, 5th of February, 2021. Introduction. The Age of the Gun. Bicocca, north of Milan, 27th of April, 1522. The tenebrous morning fog that wreathed the high grass on the field west of Bicocca Manor was just starting to burn off when the Swiss pikemen rolled forward, rank by rank, into battle. It was late April, and in Lombardy the mornings were still chilly. As the first rays of the sun warmed the dewy field, sending tiny tendrils of vapor skyward, the giant rectangles of tightly packed men tramped down the grass as they marched on toward the enemy. Most of them shouldered a long, slender pike, a spear about 18 feet long, and their blocky formations looked very much like dense, spare, unnaturally upright forests on the move. The men were in high mood, and they were noisy, too. There were several drummers in each pike block, pounding out the slow-marching cadence, which was all but drowned out by the throaty cheers rising from the formations. Even the shouted orders of the officers were inaudible. The officers led from the front rank. The men, on the verge of mutiny the day before, had demanded that their leaders take their places in the front. The officers, having been elected by their men, weren't in any position to refuse. One of the French lords commanding the army reined in his horse alongside one of the pike units. He implored the Swiss to halt until the artillery did its work, pummeling the enemy foot soldiers.